All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Daria Hammer podcast. Today, I have a good friend and colleague of mine from Washington, D.C., from Capital Center for Cosmetic Surgery, Dr. Armando Retana. He's a native of Costa Rica. He grew up after he immigrated to Maryland here in the United States and pursued a career in oral maxillofacial surgery first. Went to dental school to Columbia University in New York, and then to University of Florida, Jacksonville Medical School, as well as residency, and then decided to pursue a career in cosmetic surgery and further continued his journey, his academic journey, in cosmetic surgery in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and trained with the one and only Angelo Cuzzolina. Welcome, Armando. Really excited to have you here. You know, we share kind of a similar journey, similar mantra, being an immigrant with having a chip on the shoulder and having to prove yourself every step of the way. What was the drive that took you to this point? I want to start right off the bat with our conversation, and then kind of come back a little bit, talk about your journey and your early childhood towards your career. So first of all, welcome. And hey, man, so what is it with you? What motivated you to do all of this stuff and have such a successful career so early in your career?
Well, thank you, Dario, for having me on here. It's an honor. I think my motivation comes from home, from family, just seeing my parents, struggle and sacrifice and do what they did to put us in a position where we can be successful. I'm talking about myself and my siblings. Moving from Costa Rica to here was a big challenge and a big sacrifice on both my father and my mother. So that's basically when I think about my main motivation is them. Those days when when you're feeling lazy and you need to study for a test, or you need to do something but you don't want to get up and you just don't have the energy to do it. The first person that comes into mind is like, you know what? Your parents have sacrificed way too much for you to not get up and not get this done and study for that chemistry final, study for the biochemistry final, go take that test, the admission test for professional school. So that's my main drive.
So it sounds to me like it's a typical immigrant story, hardworking, no excuses. There's no such thing as I'm too tired. Yeah. Now, what is the difference between that and, let's say, your children now growing up here? I mean, they see you working hard. I mean, you work hard, right? You don't take any excuses. You put in the reps. So what do you feel the difference is going to be for your children now growing up, having basically everything put out on a silver plate? And what do you think their motivation is going to be? The reason why I'm asking you this question, because I'm asking myself that question.
Yeah, that's a question I think that we all have. I just went on a trip for my 40th birthday with a lot of my friends.
Oh, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
That's a big landmark.
And that was a big conversation while we were just sitting by the resort, by the pool, and talking to ourselves about that, how we all made it to where we are now. But then our children, like, they have everything, like you said, on a silver platter. And I think, again, it just goes back to the principles of family values, just teaching them that, that money doesn't grow on trees, that, we do well, but it doesn't mean that, we're going to spoil them. Like, I don't spoil my kids. I try to tell them, hey, you guys want to earn money? Let's go to the office. I have books to stack up. I have papers to shred. I have things you can inventory at the office, and I will pay you for it. That's going to be your money. So now when they go to the store, they're, hey, Daddy, I want these shoes. Okay, you want those shoes? Do you have shoes at home? Yes, I do. Oh, you want the Jordans? Okay, how much are the Jordans? $200. So for instance, I'll give you an example. I pay my children $50 a day, a per diem of $50 when they show up to the office. So they're like, so those shoes are worth 4 days worth of work? Yes, sir. That's not worth it to me. Okay, great. So now they make that decision of like, okay, those shoes are $200. That means I got to show up to the office 4 days. That means Labor Day, Memorial Day, and 2 days in the summer for me to get those shoes, right? So
I
the
love
value
that.
of money, I'm trying to teach him that, me and my wife.
Yeah.
Beyond
My
that is
my
also like,
my
yeah.
kids don't like my kids won't love to listen to this podcast, man.
Why not you? There's no
Yeah,
per
because
diem for
that's
them.
a great no, that's a great I'm going to introduce that, man.
Oh, there you
Like
go.
like today.
There you go. Yeah, I decided to do that, and they really appreciate that per diem that they get, and they start planning ahead now. They're like, you know what, I want to get the fancy AirPods that those are $400. They're like, all right, well, plan for that. You can buy them yourself. I'll give you everything you need in this life. You want something fancy?
Mm.
Go ahead, work for it. Just like
Now
you and me, just like everybody did.
how old are you kids?
My kids are 16 and 13. 16-year-old boy,
16.
13-year-old girl.
Yeah, that's exactly my kids' age. I have 17 and 14. And that's a good age, I think, to introduce them to that concept that nothing comes for free, nothing grows up on trees, and nothing comes from nothing. I mean, you got to put in the work. Now, what inspired you to become a doctor? Now, uh, I, I understand none of your parents were doctors, correct?
No. My mom went to school for business administration. She has a master's degree in business. She was
Mm-hmm.
always a hospital administrator, so her job always involved hospital administration, and so she was always around doctors and nurses and a lot of people that would come to our house, or we would get invited to doctors' houses throughout my life. My mom was befriended a lot of doctors, and she always said, Armando does well in school. He likes math and science. I think he's going to become a doctor. At the time, I could have been 10, 9, whatever. I'm like, I don't know, Mom. I'm just going through the motions. At this point in my life, I just like watching soccer, playing soccer. And yeah, I do like learning. I do have like, I like to know how things work. Like if I have a question in my brain, I'm like, how can I find out how, I don't know, how the moon phases work or how
Mm-hmm.
photosynthesis happens or whatever, right? So I always had that. But I just, as the years progressed, I just sort of migrated, to the sciences and the maths. And one day I met actually an oral maxillofacial surgeon who did surgery on my father, put a lot of implants on him and bone grafting and sinus lifts and all that stuff. So my dad like kind of like explained what the surgery was. And I said, oh my God, that sounds like a major operation. Like what kind of surgeon does that? And he goes, oh, you know what? This is interesting. This guy has an MD and a DDS. And at the time I was trying to figure out dental school, medical school, what do I do? I actually went and met this guy. His name is John Weiss. He used to practice in Frederick, Maryland. So I took my father to the post-op appointment with Dr. Weiss. And Dr. Weiss was the coolest guy ever, man. He was a guitar player, soccer coach,
Nice.
good dad, had kids.
I kind of feel all oral maxillofacial surgeons are cool.
Are cool. I agree. And I think because of that, I said, I want to be this guy one day, a cool surgeon like this guy. And that's why.
How old were you then? That's amazing.
I was in college. I was, so I must have been 20 years old.
Wow.
20. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Like one experience in your life can change the entire trajectory. I mean, one inspiration, like we want to emulate the ones that we look up to, and then that just paves the path, not of our career, but our entire life. And how cool is that? And I really am passionate about anytime young students come and residents come, I'm always excited for the opportunity to inspire them. And then if not, that's great. At least they know they're not going to do that. They're going to have to do something else. But you got to know it's so hard to find out early in life. Like I ask my kids what they want to do. They don't know. Fair enough. They're 17 and 14. I don't expect a teenager to know exactly to figure out their lives. But, once you get in college, once you get exposed to different things, I think that's where you have enough context to get inspired just like you did. And at that point, it's just, I guess, your drive and your passion will continue. Now, so you had it all planned. So you knew exactly you want to be an oral maxillofacial surgeon, and you did that. So why did your career take a 180? How did you end up being, to me, the best body sculptor in the DMV area, hands down. Is not even a competition amongst all plastic and cosmetic surgeons in the DMV, which means obviously you're talented. Obviously you're super passionate about it. Obviously you did more training than you had to. You went to Mexico. I know you went to like South America, Colombia, trained with the best, even after your fellowship training, and you're still
I'm
out
still
there.
eager to learn more.
Just improving, just improving your craft, like all of us do. But what inspired you at that point in your career to take a 180 and go to below the neck?
Well, one of the main things that attracted me to maxillofacial surgery was the diversity of procedures that maxillofacial surgeons perform. It is, yes, a head and neck sort of region, but it's so diverse. The trauma, the reconstructive surgery, the oncology, the cosmetic stuff, the TMJ reconstruction, the orthodontic surgery, like all of those things. And, when I was looking at the specialty and when I was going through residency, I said, what attracts me the most? The cancer reconstruction, the cancer resection, and then it was always like the cosmetic stuff came up, the cosmetic and the orthodontic surgery, cosmetic orthodontic surgery. Oh, and also I forgot to mention the pediatric component to it, the cleft lip and palates and that kind of thing, right? But I was always drawn to the cosmetic side. So Dr. Tirbat Fatahi, who was my chairman, I did a ton of rhinoplasties with him, a ton of facelifts with him, eyelid surgeries with him, and I just kept migrating to that kind of stuff. And then one day I talked to Fatahi and I said, "Hey, boss, I don't know, man. I have this spark. I have this thing where like I want to do full body stuff, man. Like I really love the aesthetics of stuff." And I'm like, and the face is good, but it sort of in my head, it's not like good enough for me. Like I want to do more body sculpting. I've always had a thing for the body. And he's like, "Hey, man, I have a great friend, Angelo. You should go visit him, Angelo Cosalina in Oklahoma. I think you should go early on in your residency and spend some time with him and see if it's really what you want to do, right? Like go see, rule it in or rule it out." So I did early on. Like it was, I think, my second or third year in my residency. I went out there to visit him and I fell in love with everything he was doing. And I said, "Fatahi, this is it, man. I need to just line everything up so I can be a strong candidate for that fellowship. I think it is the strongest fellowship in the nation after looking at all the other ones that's available. And I think him and I would match really well to what I need to learn for what my vision is, that what I want to do after I graduate fellowship."
Yeah. Very nice. And then so the rest is history. Once you were there, were things different than what you expected? How was it once you were there? Because it's hard to, I know you went and visited first and shadowed, during the interview process, but how would you judge your fellowship year after the fact? What and how has it contributed to your career now and the path you've chosen?
I think it was exactly what I expected. Actually, it definitely actually exceeded my expectations because I wanted to go to a fellowship that taught me, that had high volume, and with high volume comes amazing cases that you're like, wow, we made a significant change in this person. And with high volume also comes complications, right? Like it doesn't matter how good of a surgeon you are going to get complications. And if you're high volume, there's a percentage of them that they can get complicated. And I wanted to see that and be able to manage complications, because once you're on your own, you are on your own. And so I wanted to see as many of those things as possible. And I also, the other thing is that I also wanted it to be just cosmetic heavy. I didn't want to do anything else besides cosmetics. So in Jacksonville, we did a lot of reconstructive surgery. We did free fibula flaps. We did forearm flaps. We did pectoralis major flaps. We did a lot of body work to reconstruct the head and neck. And to me, that was an invaluable training. That was the best. That prepared me really well for my fellowship. So I didn't want any reconstructive stuff in my fellowship. I wanted a full-on cosmetic experience and high volume, and I got it. It was really good.
I think you're dead on there. I mean, without a strong training in reconstructive surgery, you will never learn the anatomy. You will never learn how to manage those complications, because with reconstructive surgery, of course, the rate of complications is much higher. And when you can manage those, managing complications in cosmetic surgery is almost like a mini version of the complications in reconstructive surgery.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the basis and all the foundation comes. And I think that's where people get confused between plastic surgery and cosmetic surgery, where plastic surgery is actually more reconstructive and cosmetic surgery is more about aesthetics. Some people call it aesthetic surgery. So, but at the end of the day, they all do the same. Now, today, how many years have you been now in practice? Since
2017. So I've been out for 7 years.
7 years. So where do you see yourself in your career? Because you're already doing amazing work, and it's hard to know, because I look at myself, 7, 8, 10 years into my practice, I had no idea. I didn't know anything I know now, looking back, as to how tall the sky is, where the limits are. Now I understand there's basically no limits in what we can learn. And I'm actually excited. I got to a point where I kind of was bored, and where I thought I learned everything I could have learned. And now I'm just kind of going to work. And until I decided to attend more meetings, and then that's where I learned new stuff. That's when I saw people doing things differently, and which not necessarily me doing it the way they are doing it, but I came up with my own ideas, just being inspired by some new ideas. And all of a sudden I realized, man, this is like an endless opportunity where we can advance the field. We can even contribute to it. We don't have to just, like we did in training, just read out of books or just copy what our mentor did. We actually have the potential and capacity to become the frontier, to be at the frontier, and to develop new techniques that others might have not thought of, and be the engineer of a new technique. And so where in your career, in your development, do you see yourself now, and where do you see your own future?
Well, I think that it's important to highlight what you're saying. Like, I always see myself as a combination, like the way I operate. It's a combination of all my mentors, and I see it. I see Dr. Fatahi trained me, Dr. Fernandez in Jacksonville trained me. I've been to Mexico with my colleagues in Mexico, my guys in Costa Rica, my guys in Colombia, and I've picked up little techniques here and there from people, and then it becomes like the blend of all those techniques is my technique, right? Because no one else has the same exact training as I had. And also, obviously Dr. Kozalaina taught me a lot of the basics of what I do today. So yeah, I'm at the point of my career where I'm still eager to learn so many new things, new techniques. There are surgeons in Brazil I want to go shadow. There are surgeons in Colombia still that I want to go shadow and just collaborate. And a lot of times I go and shadow, let's say I'm shadowing like surgical techniques or surgical things. And I come back actually with a couple of surgical things, but I come back with a bunch of like systems that I can implement in my office. I've talked to you about systems, and I love the systems you've implemented in your office, which I'm trying to see how I can implement them in my office as well. So I think it's just, I'm at the point where I'm still building as a surgeon and as a business owner. The other thing I have to be aware is, family, staying grounded, and make sure that I'm present for my wife, that I'm present for my kids, because that's the other component of our life that we have to watch out for. Yeah, I don't want to be the surgeon that's super successful for 30 years and not not, and my children say, you were never there, or my wife would say you were never there. So that's another thing that we have to work on as we grow. I
think you touched on a very important topic, which many call work-life balance.
Yeah.
That is, I think, no one can give one another advice on that, because everybody, I feel, has to figure out for themselves how to balance that, because we have different values, different things are important. Everybody's efficiency in what they do is different. It's like you can spend 1 hour of quality time with your family versus 10 hours or a week of non-quality time. And I think that is the one thing where people compare whether they work from home or how many days they go to the office or how many hours they spent with their kids, is that's where it gets lost a little bit. It's lacking context where we should be talking about quality time when we talk about time. And I think everybody has to figure that out for themselves. I myself have been almost like feeling guilty about not spending enough time with my family all these years, just because everybody talks about work-life balance. And of course, if I look at the hours I spend, I spend exponentially more time at work than at home all my life. When we were from the time we were students, residents, and then starting our careers and now grinding it, you feel like, you kind of feel guilty, but then how else are you going to be the best at what you do? Like you can't be good at what you do if you don't put in the work. But then,
Yes.
well, then where does the family come in? And I think that's the part that you can't guilt yourself. You just have to make sure that the time you spent with your family, it's quality time. Because you can't just ignore that. And one of the things I have actually done, this tomorrow, which is Monday, is the first Monday of the Mondays I'm taking off, because I've decided to take off every other Monday to give myself and my family a 3-day weekend, at least twice a month. And then hopefully putting it into transitioning into, every week. And so I'm really excited for that. And I think you're absolutely right. You can't forget about life. I think that is what balances us so we can actually perform better at our work and at our jobs. And so I think everybody has to figure out for themselves. And the last thing anyone should do is to guilt themselves.
Absolutely. And also in my case, like I also thank my wife for everything that she does for the family when I'm at work, because even though she's not a stay-at-home mom, she works in my office as well. She's a nurse practitioner. And I appreciate everything she does for the family. That way it frees me up to do what I need to do at work. Like you said, to continue to improve in our craft, we have to do repetition and repetition and repetition. Look at the greats like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. What do? They just repetition. And who was, behind them was a great wife who's raising the kids and all of that. But also you can't just be like, okay, you do that and I do this. No, we have to parent together, but we got to give them, a lot.
I think there has to be an understanding. There has to be an understanding and chemistry from both sides. I mean, if someone doesn't appreciate what you do, no matter what, they're not going to understand what you're doing, and they're going to resent you for that.
Yeah.
And that's I guess since your wife is in the same business, and she has probably a better understanding because she understands what's going into all of this. How much work it is, because the other side of what we do is the business aspect. Many forget that. I didn't realize the amount of time, effort, and expertise required to actually run the business around what we're passionate about, which is being in the operating room. Because without being able to run a business or having a business, you can't, at least as a business owner or having your own surgery center, you're not going to be in the operating room, because where's the business going to come from? And that's the part that we weren't taught at all. I mean, I was taught during my fellowship. I learned it there because it was a private practice environment, and I assume you as well. But where was for you the challenge? Where was for you the rude awakening? Like, oh shit, that's a lot of stuff that I don't know, and how am I going to do this? And so walk us through your journey, how you got acquainted to the business aspect of running a practice, and how you got into it, and how you're managing it now.
Yeah. Well, early on, in my fellowship, I understood that social media was going to be very important for me to get patients. Like, I understood that very early on. So in my fellowship, I started trying to get content for my social media so that
How
I
did
can
you
put
learn
out.
that? Because like, how did the birdie tell you? I mean, how did you know that?
You just have to watch the world. You have to see where the world is going, right? Like,
Well, that's what my question is. What did you? Can you like bring us to that moment,
sure.
to
The
your
moment
aha
was
moment?
my aha moment was Dr. Miami. Dr. Miami is a plastic surgeon in Miami who started doing Snapchats videos of his surgery, his tummy tucks, his BBLs, and all of this. And everybody was talking about this guy. Didn't matter if you wanted plastic surgery, you didn't want a plastic surgery. The thing they would say would be, have you seen that guy that's showing like all this crazy stuff on Snapchat? And I'm like, who? Let me see. And I'm like, oh wow. He like takes
And
you into the operating
that
room.
was very early on, right? That was what,
Yeah, that was what, 2012,
2014,
2012,
12. That
2011. I think
I mean,
so.
back then he was a complete outlier by
Way.
doing that. I mean, like look at today, this plastic surgeon, Dr. Roxy, whatever her name is, who lost her license of dancing in the operating room. Yeah. This happened now. We're talking about 12 years ago, which he was the only one. How did you not cringe or frown on him doing that? And how did you adopt it? Because I feel I had adopted it that early. I just didn't, because I wasn't even on social media back then. So I missed that. I missed out. So
when I first saw that, I said, this guy is a genius. This guy's a genius. He's cracking the code. He's taking people into the operating room, whether you like it or not. If you like blood, you're like me. Wow, this is amazing. If you don't like it, you're like, oh my God, this is disgusting. But either one of those reactions gets you talking about it. And because it gets you talking about it, it gets you more and more popularity. And that's it. So I said,
this makes you a genius, right? By recognizing another genius, this makes you a genius, because many didn't recognize that.
There you go. Well, I just saw that. I said, yeah, that guy's a genius. I need to figure out how I can do something like this. And I was far from going into fellowship, far from going into private practice. But I said, I need to figure out between now and when I go into practice, my business has to implement social media in it for me to be successful and have patients. So in my fellowship, I asked my fellowship director, hey, is there a way where we can, in the consent, that we can have patients sign where I can post maybe some before and afters and things like that, maybe not identifiable features of their body and things like that. And then he let me implement it. And so I took some of that content into private practice, and I was able to, from scratch, start building. And then once you start operating on people, I think it's just when people trust you and you treat them well, they'll give you permission to post and things like that. And they understand 100%. They understand that you're an artist. Like, this is work that you have a talent that other people don't have. And especially in this region, they also appreciate that there's someone who speaks Spanish, who speaks their language. A lot of times, a lot of my patients do speak Spanish, although I have all kinds of ethnicities in my practice. But people just want to, that's the way of saying thank you. They used to bring us cookies, they used to bring us donuts, but now they're like, you know what, Dr. Retana, go ahead and post that stuff, man. You deserve to show how much of an artist you are. And that's why they consent. I think I only post 50% of the work that I actually do, because the other 50% of people are private, and I respect that, and that's fine. And I'm thankful and grateful for all the people that allow me to post their results, because I do want to show, what we can do with different body types.
Yeah, I think the one myth that I wish I had, and that's why sometimes you just can't listen to naysayers, man. I mean, the one myth that kept me from jumping onto that ingenious idea was that people telling me that, first of all, it's a terrible idea. Secondly, that no patient would agree to share their photos online or on social media, which led me not even to ask the question until I was like, man, I realized the importance of social media, and I saw others doing it. I'm like, man, like, how are they doing it? Let me just ask my patients. Until I realized, like, literally, I would say 70% of my patients, if not 80, they actually agree. And then another 5 to 10% at first, they don't agree. after they see the results, they're so excited, they're so grateful, they're so proud. They're like, you know what? I didn't want you to share them initially, but because I wasn't sure how I'm gonna look, but you can absolutely share them. I love it, and thank you so much. And then in hindsight, they release their photos, and I think it goes back to what they say. They're grateful, they're appreciative, they want to give back. And some of them even say, well, that's how I found you. So if I can help someone else find you through my pictures, absolutely, here we go. And I think people are more generous than we think. And I wish I hadn't listened to naysayers early on. So that's what makes you a genius. And I respect you for that. Now, when you having said all of that, how much of your business do you attribute to social media? Now, when we talk about social media, we talk about organic, which means it's really for free. It's just your time of posting. What people don't realize, I see all my plastic surgery colleagues, they're like, Instagram has shadow banned me and this and that. I'm like, maybe because your content is not that interesting, and maybe you should make different content, because there's so many others that don't get shadow banned. And so change your content, bring more value. And plus, why are you complaining? It's for free. So, what are you complaining about? So my question now to you again, going back, how much of your business do you attribute to social media, to the organic, which is free?
So 100% of my patients come from social media.
Here you 100%. Have it, guys and gals. Yeah. Did you guys listen? How much?
100% of my patients come from social media.
I think we can end the podcast here. Look, I'm going crazy. Like, I'm like trying to convince people or talk to people about the importance of it. And everybody, like, when I go on talk show, like, hey, I'm struggling getting in business to growing. I'm like, where's it? I look at their social media. They just posted they had pizza yesterday, and happy Thanksgiving. That's their post. I'm like, why would anybody how does anybody actually know what you do or how good you are? I mean, that's showcasing. I compare it to our before and afters back in the old days that we had on our website. So that's pretty much obsolete. I mean, I think unless you're 70 or 80 years old, you're not going on anybody's website. You're on social media. There's not enough time in a day now no one even has a laptop anymore. I have my laptop here. That's from 2015. I haven't even upgraded it because I don't need a new laptop. I'm rarely on it. The only time I use this laptop is when I'm doing a podcast. Yeah. And so 100%. 100%. And that's amazing. Now, how many followers did you start with? When you open up your social media account, like the first day you signed up, how many followers did you have?
What I did. So I had Instagram when Instagram opened up. When 2000, 2010 or 2011, 2012.
Yeah, very early. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I had it. I downloaded that app thinking it was a photo editing app.
It was actually a photo posting app.
That's what it was. And I just thought it was cool, all the filters that you could do with it. I'm like, it's pretty cool, black and white and whatever, right? I had that. So I opened that account then, and I just, just like Facebook, followed friends followed me back, family members, all of that. When I'm going into fellowship and I'm realizing that I need to brand myself, I switch my personal account, that same one that I've always had, and I switch it into a business account. And so basically, the people that are following me are just my cousins, my family, and my friends.
Yep.
That's it. And I just start posting content of what I'm doing. I start educating people. I'm like, breast implants. Let's talk about breast implants. Silicone versus saline. Did you guys know the difference? No. So just giving educational value to those people who are looking at it. And what I find is that those people, they're just your friends, but they have different sets of friends and different sets of family members, right? So there's all this network of people that you think is like, oh, my friends are not going to come to me to get surgery, or my mom is not, or maybe they will, maybe they don't. Yes, maybe they won't, but their friends and their family members will. So if you give them value, and let's say that example I just gave, breast implants, silicone versus saline, and you explain it well in a very, very, very basic way that everybody can understand. You're not talking to your doctor friends. You're talking to your mother or your sisters, right? Or your cousins that don't know medicine. And you explain it in a good way. Now, next time they're at a brunch with their friends and that topic comes on, they're going to have something to say, something to contribute to the conversation because of you. And now they're going to say, where'd you hear that? Oh, my cousin is actually a surgeon. Let me show you his page. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, now you just gained 10 followers at brunch, 10 followers that you have no idea. You would have never connected with unless you made that educational post. That's the power of social media. And then exponentially it grows.
And by the way, how many followers did you start off with day one?
1,000 probably. Just
no, the first day. You just open it up. You just signed in your account.
Oh, yeah. Zero followers.
Thank you. So to all the listeners, we all started with 0 because there's not an event where I talk about the importance of it. And then, you know what the other person says? Well, it's easy for you to say you have hundreds of followers, thousands of followers. Okay. And like your point, how many did we start with?
Yeah.
Like, it's like no one wants to put the reps in. You're like, you look at Mr. Olympia and you're like, well, you know, it's easy for you to say you have all these muscles. Like no one talks about how he got there.
Yes.
You know, and
it's because people are comparing like this is not your day
end result. Yeah.
But this is not your day one. They're on day 0. They haven't even put in the work to say this is my day 1 of social media. But they're talking to Dr. Hemra, who's day number 4,000 on social media.
Almost 2,000 now.
There you go. So you have all these days of work and content and stuff. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's easy for you to say because you have so many. Yeah, but we started with nothing. We started with friends and family members just following us out of courtesy of knowing us. And then you grow.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about when I talk in front of the audience and try to inspire people, the first thing I talk about is, you know, to be successful in anything you do, you need to bring in 3 things to the table: passion, consistency, and hard work. Yeah. Okay. Without those 3, I'm sorry. I mean, like you said, nothing grows on trees.
One more: discipline.
Discipline. What I actually talk about that as well. Discipline goes synonymous with hard work. I mean, in order to be a hard worker, you have to be disciplined.
Absolutely.
And to all the young folks that are listening, as well as all the older folks that are listening and complaining that their business has been slowing down, look at which one of these 3 points you're not contributing to, and then you will have the answer. And, you know, I love the fact that, you know, you can bullshit others, but at the end of the day, you can't bullshit yourself. When you put your head on a pillow at night, all those demons are going to come and, you know, you're going to have to face them. And so there's many now, I think, from the older generation and specific poo-pooing social media and demonizing it. And look at Congress now is trying to ban TikTok, which they're probably going to do, is because they don't understand it. Like they just don't understand it. And people that vote for that, they're the older people. You know, they're the ones that actually go vote, because the younger people they really don't care. You know, and it's unfortunate. I think more of the younger people need to be active and raise their voice and have a say, or else we're just going to go back in time again.
I agree. I agree. There's older politicians, they don't even know how to use TikTok, right?
Yeah, of course. That's why they just hear it's owned by Chinese and we're being infiltrated. And it's like, well, why don't you change your infrastructure so the Chinese can't come and like lock out the pipelines or shut down our electricity? If you look at the IT infrastructure of the government, it's terrible. I have people that are consultants for the government. The stuff that they tell me that's going on with the infrastructure is shocking. Wow. It's like we're talking they're behind 15 years. So of course, all the enemies, they can go and, someone can just shut off the electricity of a whole city It's like they laugh at us. And now they want to ban TikTok, thinking like that will solve the problem. And so let's assume they ban TikTok. Tomorrow you wake up, no more TikTok. What are you going to do? Are you going to care?
I'm not going to care. Most of my business is run through Instagram.
What if they close Instagram tomorrow? What are you going to do?
Exactly. You know what? That is actually, I'm reading a book right now. That talks about what are your next 5 moves when something very, very critical happens.
Okay. Like Instagram shuts down, TikTok shuts down. What are you going to do? You read that book. What are you going to do?
Right now, I don't have those next 5 moves thought out. I need to sit down and envision what I'm going to do if that happens.
I'll tell you what I think.
But I'm gonna do something. I'm not gonna sit here and cry about it. I'm gonna do something.
Well, what do all these platforms have in common? What do they bring to the table? Attention, right? People's attention. So if your attention has been on TikTok and Instagram, they shut down Instagram and TikTok. Where's the attention gonna go? YouTube. I don't know. YouTube maybe, but somewhere it's gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So if it goes somewhere else, we're gonna go somewhere else.
We're gonna go somewhere else.
It's like going into a club or a party. You go out at night. You go to your favorite club. You realize, oh shoot, they're closed. You're gonna go to probably all the people that wanted to go to that club with you. They realize the same thing, so they're gonna go somewhere else. So you're just gonna go where somewhere else is. So I'm not so, I really don't care if they close tomorrow because I know that the attention is going to go somewhere else, and I'm just going to be there where the attention is at that time. So I think we don't have to push the panic button. We just have to go where the attention is, and these platforms are all attention platforms. That's all there are.
100%.
So that's my take. So, are you doing anything else other than social media to promote your business?
No, when I started, we used
like newsletters, blogs, mailers, whatnot.
We are not. Like what I'm doing these days, I'm getting some TV attention. Like there's some Spanish stations like Telemundo, Univision. Both of those have. Telemundo already did a couple of things with us. They did a 4-episode series on cosmetic surgery, post-op massages, things like that. My biography, they also highlighted on there.
I saw that.
So that was pretty cool, and that's rolling out right now as we speak. Then I had Univision, a representative of Univision also saw that on Telemundo. They thought it was interesting. They want to take a different sort of approach. And I like their approach because that's the approach I've always wanted to do, actually, and it's an educational approach. The reason why we want to do an educational approach about cosmetic surgery in this area, in the DMV, is because, and maybe take it national, because Univision is national. It's about educating people on these procedures because there's a lot of
myths.
There's a lot of corporate people getting into the aesthetic surgery, aesthetic world. They know spas are profitable, lipo 360s and BBLs are profitable. So all this hedge fund people and all these people want to get involved, but they don't care about the ethics of the whole business. And so a lot of people are getting botched and they're getting bad results. Some people are dying because it's not being done properly. And who suffers a lot of time are the low socioeconomic status individuals they don't educate themselves enough on who's performing this procedure. Are these clinics certified or not certified? Are right? And a lot of times it is the Latino community or the African American community or just like the low socioeconomic status people who don't educate themselves. So educating people on, hey, these are the things to watch out for. These are the things to look out for. Please do your research. Don't just give that one body that you have. It's not like you have 3 bodies that you can change into. You have one. Make sure you go to the right person.
I think that's a great idea because, like you said, most often the low-hanging fruit, they get, become victims of botched. And it's same in facial cosmetic surgery. I see so many people getting unfortunately botched, and because they're low hanging fruit, most of them are the ones that are trying to avoid what should be done, and then get basically suckered into what sounds too good to be true until they realize that was a bad idea, and now they have to undo the damage to get to what they should have had in the first place. And I think education is always key. I think the best way for us to contribute and to make sure things are done safely and also be proud of ourselves is not just to educate ourselves, but also to educate our community. Even if someone doesn't come to you for surgery, at least they watch your videos and they can learn about it. And if they have it somewhere else done, at least they're educated enough to ask the proper question, because someone might be in a different geographic or demographic area. They might not want to come and travel, even though a lot of patients come and travel to you, but at least they get the benefit of your education. I think that's a great thing. I think all doctors should educate primarily because, first do no harm, right? And so how has your practice evolved from a local to a now a national and international practice? Walk us through that evolution of your practice.
Yeah. The first couple of years, my practice was very just a local practice, DMV only, Maryland, DC, Virginia kind of clientele. But with the power of social media and the word of mouth that creates, I've had patients from Japan, Germany, England, several areas of the world, and then also from Florida, from Texas, from California, from Washington State, everywhere, New York City. So it is beautiful to see that. But I also know what that means too, because, for instance, I have rules that I stick to, and I'm strictly about those rules. And they say, Dr. Retana, can I come there for 2-3 days? You do my surgery and I leave? I say, no, absolutely not. You need to stay here for 2 weeks. That's my rule. 14, give me 14 days. I operate on you. Let me follow you for 14 days and let me send you back to Japan, knowing that that we're mostly good. We're 90% there, right? And even then, things can arise later on, things that I can't control. But at least give me 14 days of control so that I can sleep at night, so that you can sleep at night, so that you can say that you made the right decision, that you chose the right person that cares about your results. Like I care about every single person I touch. I care about the results probably more than they care about the results. I tell people, listen, it's your body, it's my reputation. We both have something at stake here. So please, let's team up and get an amazing result together.
And how do you set up these consultations? So I assume you're doing a virtual consultation first. Yeah. How do they kind of find you, and how do you set the process, start the process? Kind of for those who are interested in seeing you, kind of walk us through that process.
Yeah, so it's all done through the first contact. Their first point of contact is social media, right? So they send a DM and say, "Hey, Dr. Retana, I like your work. How do I set up a consult?" So there's a link in my bio with it's like a link tree with a lot of links in it. And one of them is just request a virtual consultation or request a consultation in the office. So if you're from the area, you click on the area that says, I want to request an in-person consult. If you live outside this area, then you click on, I want a virtual consult. And we do it through Zoom mainly. That's the app that we use. So we set you up. So they basically what they do is they send a consultation request, because I also want to filter out people who are not surgical candidates, right? The main thing is safety, right? And the main thing is that someone needs to be healthy enough to have surgery. So I have BMI requirements, I have age requirements, I have medical history requirements, or things that can get them out of being a surgical candidate. So if they fill out the whole questionnaire, name, phone number, everything, right? And medical history, and there's something there that's a red flag that, for instance, the BMI, if their BMI, their body mass index is over 32 for me, then they are not a surgical candidate in my office. They might be a surgical candidate with another surgeon with a different setup. But in my outpatient surgery center, it's 32 or below to be able to have surgery with me. So yeah, after they go through that process and send photos, then we can send a link to them and say, yeah, you do qualify to have surgery with Dr. Retana. This is the fee, and this is how you book an available date. They can all do it online. They don't have to call anyone and talk to a human being. They can just do it all online.
That's fantastic. I think streamlining things and setting up system is key for efficiency. As it is, it's already hard for a patient to travel across country, continent, or state, wherever. I think that's a great idea to streamline this. And I think so. In your mind, where is the future of cosmetic surgery going? You know, seeing these, like what you just said 7-8 years ago was unthinkable. I mean, we had maybe 1 or 2 patients a year. Now it's like almost half of our patients come from out of town, out of country. You know, now giving this trend and the possibility because of advancement of technology, where do you see the future of cosmetic surgery? Do you see yourself opening up or practicing in multiple locations, or staying in one central location and taking advantage of what you just said? Because people are traveling to us, and many patients ask me online, hey, are you coming to Dubai? Are you coming to Barcelona? Or it's like, no, I'm just one person. I can't like split myself in 5. You know, many patients, if they really want our services, they come and travel to us. So where do you see the future?
I mean, I see many things in the future, but in terms of me, what I want to do is I want to maximize the potential of my office, my mothership, continue to maximize this potential, and have people come to us. Because, you know, one thing is to do surgery here with my staff. I call it like, you know, when you think about like sports teams, like, you know, you have your home arena or your home stadium. So playing a game in that home stadium is like amazing. You have your home crowd, you have everything you need there.
I like that analogy.
And then if you take it, then if you go play away in Dubai, you go play away in Colombia, like, you don't have your staff, you don't have your favorite lead assistant that's there that knows exactly everything you need at what time you need it. You don't have your favorite anesthetist, you know, all of that. The materials could be different. Everything is different. So performing surgeries out there, can they be done? Sure. But you probably do a better job doing it at home. So that's what patients should realize. Like, hey, I do want to go see Dr. Hammer. I do want to go see Dr. Retana at their home stadium, because they're gonna slam dunk my case every single time. Like I've seen it for many, many times in their social media. So I think I do see that the market is endless. The market now with social media, it is endless. People are coming from everywhere in the world. And I think that's beautiful. But as surgeons, we all got to be careful with you know, those out of town patients. Those are the ones that worry me the most, because I know I only have 14 days to watch them. And then obviously I follow up with them through virtual channels to make sure they're doing well. And usually, you know, we have a good network of surgeons throughout the country that we could be like, you know, you're close to Oklahoma, I have some friends there. Or you're in Boston, I have other friends there that can see you. They'll do a favor for me and they can see you. So because we go to conference, because we continue to network with people, I believe that we can also, you know, help each other out in that regard if we ever need to. So collaborations are key.
So
Daria, I think we're having an audio issue here. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
hold on. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody knows by now, is familiar with what's called body dysmorphia or body dysmorphic disorder. How do you, and statistically based on what study you cite, anywhere between 10 to 15% of anybody walking through outdoors has some degree of body dysmorphic disorder. How do you screen for that? And then how do you handle that with the patient? How do you bring it up? How do you, I assume you decide not to perform surgery on some of these patients. And how do you, first of all, screen for that? And how do you diagnose that?
I've had a few encounters with that kind of stuff, and I mean, in my training, I actually saw it. It was pretty obvious. Um, I think my approach is always honesty, um, in terms of dealing with it. But diagnosing it is just listening to the patient, looking at their surgical history. You know, when like you have a very beautiful patient in front of you with an amazing body who's talking about every time I look in the mirror, I see a monster, or I see like all this stuff is like out of proportion, or you're just like when you're like doing this. I need Botox, by the way, but when I'm frowning and I'm like, wait, I don't see what she's seeing. I don't see what she's seeing. And then you just have that feeling, and you're like, you know what? I need to talk to this patient about. I'm like, first of all, you look amazing. Give yourself some credit. And number two, look at all the surgeries you've had. It looks like you've been having. I'm just thinking about this one patient I had recently. I'm like, you've had a surgery like almost every year for the past like 6 years. What is it that you're trying to achieve? How can I help you achieve that? If I see your vision, if your vision is, I can envision your vision, then we are good. We're good to go. Let's go to the OR. But if I cannot visualize what you're trying to achieve, I'm the wrong guy for you. And I don't know if you can find somebody that could get you there because you already look amazing, right? Or when somebody's had so many surgeries that their body's just not, it's just botched, or it's just disproportionate or something. Again, I approach it always with honesty. I say, listen, this is what I see. And I don't see how I can help you. That's how I end the conversation. I'm not the right person for you.
Do you ever get those patients that we see on the show botched come to you, those extreme cases? Have you ever encountered? What's the craziest case or patient you've ever encountered?
Yeah, I've like one or two that I've seen that I just, I think what I told her was like, I said something like, I do a lot of revision surgery in terms of body and BBLs and things like that. And the revision surgeries that I do take on is because, again, I think I can help those people get a better result. But when I see that the damage has been done beyond repair in my hands, then I don't engage. I can't. I'm not going to take your money to do nothing, or to not improve it to the level that you want it. So that's how I approach those cases too. But yeah,
I think it's
sad.
It's a very hard conversation to have. I have. For me, it's always difficult. Because it's a sensitive issue. You don't want to minimize their concern, but at the same time, someone has to tell them, like, look, this direction you're going is not a good one. And just because I'm not going to do your surgery, or I don't think you need a surgery or whatever treatment, that doesn't mean you should go and seek it from someone else. That's what I'm always worried about, that they don't understand why I rejected it. Yeah. And that they go and get botched somewhere else. So I always make them aware of that. Yeah. So we're going to have some to round and finish things up. I loved our convo. I can't believe we've been talking for an hour already.
Yeah.
Some rapid fire questions. Okay. Right. Let's see what we get through. So what's one common myth about cosmetic surgery you like to debunk? One myth that's floating out there.
One myth that the myth that people do BBLs to make their booty look bigger. That's a myth. People do BBLs because they want to change the shape and maybe the volume of their booty, but not necessarily. People associate BBLs with volume, not necessarily.
That's very, very informative. And I think that has to do also with some trends that came and went. Quickly name the procedure you find most rewarding to perform.
Lipo 360 BBL with abdominal etching. I love that procedure. It's very rewarding to me.
And I've seen your results. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, just check out his social media, Instagram. If you want to, I'll post the handles of the social media accounts at the caption for all of you. And so just go check out his, I wouldn't call it work, I would call it art. So you will know why he just said that. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received from anyone?
Follow your dreams and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You can't
Love that.
just dream big,
Love that.
and go get your dreams. I mean, and it's not going to be easy. The journey is going to be, you're going to fall and scrape your knees and scrape your face and scrape your elbows and everything. But that journey is beautiful because once you get to where you want to be, it's just that much. It just means that much to you.
Everybody hear that? Everybody hear that? And that's it. That's all there is to it. Early bird or night owl? Which one describes you best?
Probably night owl.
Night owl.
I'm not an early bird, but with our profession, we have to get up early, which I don't mind. But I do like to stay up at night.
All right. One surgical trend you see rising in 2024?
Natural results.
100%.
More and more people are just looking for natural. You know, I feel like 100%. In the 90s, I feel like back in the night, when I think of 90s, I'm like, okay, Pamela Anderson, fake breast, very large breast. Everybody went with that trend. Then you go into the 2000s with the Kim Kardashians and their booties being oversized, and everybody went that way. And now everybody's getting actually BBL reductions. They want the BBLs to be reduced because everybody wants to look natural. So, and I love it. The natural results are the best in the face and the body, everywhere.
And I'm 100% with you on that one. I've seen actually, that's why in my field, in facial cosmetic surgery, there's been a significant incline and increase in deep plane facelifts because it yields the most natural results. And most people are hunkering down, saving their money, trying to avoid gimmicks and save their money to eventually get that facelift. And that trend, I think last year there was almost a 20% rise in facelift surgery because people want more natural results. What's your go-to relaxation activity after a long day in the OR doing your 360 BBL etching and all this stuff, which takes a lot of physical work and hard work? What's your go-to relaxation activity after a long day of work?
My go-to is the gym. I love going to the gym and getting at least an hour and a half of exercising after.
Even though you're tired, you're exhausted, your back is hurting, your arm is hurting.
The thing is, yes, like, like I do a lot of, it is physically intensive to do lipos and fat transfers and tummy tucks and all of that. And it's also mentally draining, right? Because you're performing at a high level where you have to pay attention to every single little detail. So I'm actually more drained mentally than I am physically when I perform surgery. Same. And I feel like going to the gym allows me to basically not think and just it's mental health, basically. I think I'm treating my mental health at the gym more than I am my physical health. Or maybe both at the same time, at the same level. Mm-hmm. It's one of my happy places. The OR is my happy place. The gym is my other happy place. And then one hobby that I have that also sort of sets me free, it's golfing. I like golfing. I picked it up in my residency.
Nice.
And now I'm picking it up again. It's a very stimulating game. It relaxes me. It allows me to be in my other happy place, which is outside in the sun with fresh air,
and sunscreen.
All of that, man. Absolutely. Yes. My wife would lather sunscreen on my face all the time. I'm actually not that good about that. I need to be better about that.
Yeah. Once you see like your skin getting thinner and these age spots coming up, you're like, oh shit, I should do that, because when you're young and you don't see the damage, you feel like, it's not going to happen to me. But
I'm invincible.
When you get older, you see the wrinkles creeping up, you see the skin and the tissues starting to thin. You're like, wait a second, so I think sunscreen is the most underrated anti-aging thing because of what we just talked about. So maybe something for you to look after. One innovation you hope to see in the field of cosmetic surgery in the next decade, because you're going to be practicing for a long time.
Yeah. More and more guided procedures, guided surgery.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I like the movement that the BBL has started with using the use of ultrasound technology, because of all the adverse events that happen in Florida with fat transfer. The surgeons down there, at least in Florida, are required to use an ultrasound machine to know exactly where their cannula is at all times, so they don't get to the deep veins in the gluteal area, which can potentially end up with fat embolisms. I do like that. I do anything that's guided. It just gives more sense of security, more sense of safety to the patient and to the surgeon, especially it's good for training too. Like, you train surgeons, we've been trained, and it is nice to be able to see what your mentor is explaining to you with an image. And so I think more and more guided technology and ultrasound technology in the field of aesthetics with injectables, like my wife does, and me with fat transfers, and same for the face and everything. I think I like to see that safety increase, so that patients are more confident that
100%
that we're being safer.
100%. I in my practice use ultrasound guided guidance for facial not for surgery, but for a lot of patients that come with filler injections, or if I want to diagnose the facial pockets, if I do fat grafting, those are invaluable. They make me so much better, more precise. I think use of technology is very underrated in the surgical arena, and I think we're learning more about it, which is very exciting. Absolutely. If you weren't a surgeon, Armando, what would you be doing? What was the one thing? Did you have a plan B ever? Or let's assume, even if you didn't have a plan B, if someone told you, hey, you can't be a surgeon anymore, what would you be doing for the rest of your life?
That's a great question. My kids asked me that question a couple times.
Okay.
And the first thing that comes to mind is the one thing that I wanted to be growing up my entire life. I always, my math teacher, I had a really good math teacher. And I said, I just respected him a lot. And I thought the guy was super smart, and he was able to explain things really, really well. And math came very natural to me. I said, maybe one day I'll be a math teacher. That sounds like a great idea. And then I scratched it after a while, but maybe I would be a teacher. I like teaching. So I would be some kind of teacher.
You're already teaching on social media. You're teaching your patients. We're teaching our patients in our consultations. That's maybe why they can relate well to you, because you're teaching and you come from a point of wanting to help someone understand something. What sometimes we forget, we're teaching every day. That's what you're doing.
We teach every day. And that's the thing I love about our profession. Like when I was on vacation last week, right? I told you, I kind of miss the whole interactions with patients, teaching them things, talking them through things. So I would be some kind of teacher. I don't know what kind of teacher.
You can still do it through here.
And that's right. And I love it. And the other thing I enjoy is like helping my kids with their homework. I love it. It takes me back to middle school, high school days where I am able to teach things like that I still somehow have in my brain. It's pretty cool.
Well, maybe one day you're going to have your own fellowship training program and you can teach other surgeons. For me, picking that up is probably the best decision I made for my career, which, brought this breeze of fresh air into not just my practice, just my life, and I think you'd make a great teacher. And I think, anyone could greatly benefit from your expertise. So it's something you might consider in the future.
Yeah. And the few times I've gotten, 'cause I also consider getting on the podium and teaching your techniques or your experience with other people, or reviewing the literature is also a great moment of teaching. But when you're teaching and I'm like, you know what, out of that, process of teaching this course or teaching this lecture, I learned a ton. Like I learned more than I taught, kind of thing, So that aspect of teaching I enjoy as well. Just being able to learn more.
Love it. So I'll see you on the podium more often now, correct?
Yes, sir.
Good. Last question. Is there a question that I should have asked you and I didn't ask you? I like to ask that in closing.
I don't know. I think we covered a lot of stuff. You asked me the one that I like to answer that, like what would you tell people? The other thing is something we talked about earlier. I also feel the need to pay it forward, right? Someone, when I asked the surgeon, hey, can I come shadow you? I want to see what you do on a daily basis. And he said, yeah, of course, come on by. And he changed my life. After me shadowing him for a couple of weeks, I made the decision, I'm going to pursue that career. I'm going to become a surgeon. And I always tell people, no matter where you are in your training, high school, college, beyond college, professional school, but if what we do sparks an interest for you and you want to come shadow us in the office, DM me, send me an email. We have ways of getting people in, especially in the summertime. The number of interns or the number of people that are interning with us this summer has grown exponentially, which I love. Hopefully, we spark a couple of people to become surgeons or to become nurses or CRNAs. We've had a couple that came to see our CRNAs who are now in CRNA school.
Wow.
And so, they, the gratification is they start DM, Dr. Retana, I got into my CRNA school at Georgetown. Thank you for allowing me to shadow your CRNAs and all of that. So to me, knowing that I'm paying it forward in where I came from, I just enjoy that kind of stuff for sure.
Love it. Love it. Armando, thank you as a friend and colleague. I want to thank you for coming on the show. And you're the rising star in the field, and keep being inspired and keep inspiring. And I can't wait to see great things and be on the podium together and teach together and learn from each other. And I'm so grateful to have you here in the DMV area, which is a very lonely area to be in our profession. It's because we're certainly not in Beverly Hills or Miami and where those hubs are. So it's good to have someone like-minded and as talented as yourself. And I think I'm really grateful also for our friendship growing, not just the collegial relationship, but also our friendship. And really excited to witness your journey. And dude, thanks for coming on. And I love your work. And for anyone that wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
My social media, my Instagram, love.bodydc is my handle. DM me. I still run my social media. I'm the only one responding to DMs on there. So if you DM me, you'll definitely get a message back. I want to tell you guys that the way me and this amazing surgeon connected was through social media. It was just liking our posts, liking each other's posts. I'm like, wow, this guy does some amazing facial procedures.
That's true.
And that's the thing. Like I refer all my facelifts and rhinoplasties to him because it's the same sort of philosophy. Natural results look good today, and they're going to look good ages from now. So we became friends on social media. Look, we are doing a podcast. We go to conferences together. We're probably gonna. We still need to do dinner one of these days with the wife.
Yes,
I mean all that stuff.
We'll do that. Well, we're still young. I like to believe. I know you. I got 10 years on you, but I feel I'm 40. So we're still young. The night is young, the day is young. So looking forward to it. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for everybody tuning in. And if you're interested to get in touch with Dr. Retana, at Love That Body DC on Instagram, and all the links to his other handles will be posted down below. Thanks, everybody. Until next time.